Before the trailer, this is what we would do on the range. Since I was 13 and started working with him, he always tried to just get me to hit the ball really hard.
Hit it hard, yeah.
And over the last couple of years working with Jason, I've just like gotten a little longer every year, it seemed like, you know. High school, I kept getting longer, but I was also getting bigger in high school. But even in college, I feel like a lot of guys plateau, bad coaches. I had a really great trainer at Wake Forest,
yeah.
who came out here and did some of
Yeah.
y'all's
he did.
testing. And so I got, like, between he and Jason, I got faster every year I was in college as well.
All right, so today is the day I've been looking forward to. We've got one of the young rising stars here on the PGA Tour, Michael Brennan, 23 years old, from Leesburg, Virginia, my old stomping grounds.
Out on tour, this is kind of that new crop of younger players that everybody's so excited about, that not only hit it far, but they've got the work ethic and the capabilities to take it all the way.
He was back-to-back ACC individual champion 2023, 2024, went to the PGA Tour of Americas, won 3 events out of the first 4 starts, secured his Corn Ferry card, but then in 2025 he got an exemption to go play the Bank of Utah Championships on the PGA Tour, and he won, directly taking him onto the PGA Tour for a 2-year exemption. So quite a rise from a young gun.
Exceptionally powerful. His golf swing is beautiful. And any of these young players today, they're creating so much torque and so much force that to get to the highest level, they really need a great team around them.
He's here with his trainer, Jason Meisch, with his coach, Adam Harrell. He's got his caddy, Jeff. So really excited to see what these guys are working on and see if we can help. If you like videos like this and more content from my TPI, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. We'll keep you notified anytime a new video launches. How old are you?
23.
God, I wish I was 23. You right-handed in everything you do?
Mm.
Okay. Never done anything left-handed?
No.
Okay, broken bone surgeries, traumas, anything that's cost you more than a week of play in your life?
Don't think so.
Ankles are good, knees, no issues, hips, lower back's never been a problem, neck, no LASIK surgery,
No
shoulders, elbows, wrists, nothing there in the wrist? All good?
No, I mean,
You've been healthy since 14.
That's Love it. Superpower, why are you on tour?
hit the ball pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, I have speed, but I'm pretty competitive. I think that would be above all.
I like it. What, I didn't ask driver club head speed.
26.
Nice, okay.
Cruising.
What's your preferred ball flight?
Longer clubs, it's definitely fade biased. I'd say once we get to a 6-7 iron, it gets really straight.
So I'd see your team here, Jeff Caddy, Jason, Adam. Any other voices in your head on your team? Like, who do you got?
My manager,
Okay.
Terry Riley, and my parents.
No, like, is there a sports psychologist? Is there okay, all right.
Yeah, these three guys are kind of what I got.
When you're on the road, are you getting manual therapy stuff done, like in the trailer or something?
I don't have a physio or anything. I mean, for me, it's all been super like recent, you know, playing on tour. So
And you're pretty healthy, so you're not.
I
in
haven't.
pain.
haven't been in the world very long, so it's kind of hard to, you know, see. I just not there yet. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, then we don't like to presume anything, so I'm just gonna ask the most important question. We always say, imagine you're walking down the beach, you find a bottle, you rub on it, and a genie pops out. Let's say we're your genie today, and we can get you 3 wishes. How can we help?
I wrote down a couple things, and I don't want to forget it, so I'm gonna look at them.
I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna ask your team the same thing.
Yeah. Something Adam and I talk about a lot is I don't get off my right side soon enough.
With all clubs you feel that? Or?
Mostly shorter clubs. I mean, with driver, it's obviously easier.
Do you analyze your swing a lot? Or like, are you a more information kind of guy?
He's F-type, or what we call F-type. He's very analytical, data-driven.
Is this diagnosis off of video, off field? Is this off force plate? Is that like you said you're
Mostly video stuff, but just like right foot bank it'll bank for a really long time.
Okay. And you feel like that's affecting you how? What's the problem with that?
My tendency is to get too left with driver, especially with longer clubs. And so I feel like for years my feel is almost always that I'm trying to hit a draw, and it has never gotten too far right. It always kind of continues to stay left.
Hence why you like to fade.
Well, yeah, it's because I
kind of hard to hit a draw when it's past.
I would say, like, I don't want to say I can hit a draw with driver, but I never am trying to hit a draw with driver because for me, with a neutral setup, unless I were to change something, my path is not going to be right. And that's, I guess it's good that I know that, but
but the main,
frustrating
when you
at
said
times.
you're hanging back, the main problem you're saying is path, and you're thinking hang back's what's causing the path. If you hung back and your path was correct, would you be cool hanging back? Where's the problem?
I guess so. I mean,
I just want to make sure I know what the problem is.
No. I mean, the path is too far left. And I feel the hangback could be causing that.
Yeah, okay.
Adam and I have worked on trying to get left more on the way down. Yeah. And I will say, like, over the last couple of years, I feel like my swing's gotten a lot tighter than it was in college. Like, in college, I had a...
How long do you guys work together?
12 years. 12 years.
Nice. Perfect.
And I've been with Jason for 7-8 years.
Awesome. Okay.
But in college, I would get really far off the ball on the way back. And I'm much more centered now than I was, but I would get really far off the ball.
Right?
I've worked with right.
Yeah. Okay.
I've worked with Scott Lynn a few times. And with pretty much every club, I was like 99+% on my right side on the way back, which I don't think it is anymore, because I've worked to not do that. The other thing with the swing is this may be more aesthetics, but I will, again, mostly with longer clubs, like kind of will finish high with a lot of club face rotation.
You don't like that?
Don't love it.
What is it? What's the problem with it?
To me, it seems like it's like let's shut the face so it doesn't go right type thing.
All right, so Michael's first wish to try and eliminate this consistent hanging back feeling that he has had throughout his career. He said he kind of hangs back, over exits left. Most good players do not want to hit it left. And when you hang back and you don't weight shift, it's very easy to hang back on your back leg and just spin, and that creates this path that exits left and brings the left side of the golf course in place.
So there's a variety of things that can cause hanging back in sequencing, and then some very simple things like ball position. That immediately makes you think of, okay, weight distribution, where is he at address?
Now the second wish of he've got this high follow through kind of feeds off of the first wish.
Could be also because you're hanging back. Because if you're hanging back, that creates side bend, and that
kind of go together.
Yeah, they kind of go together.
A lot of times when you hang back onto your back leg and just spin and rotate, your arms will exit high and create that high finish. It's hard to kind of get your upper body to cover on top of the ball and exit down and left when you're hanging back.
Usually when you have a little bit of a higher release, you might have a little bit more face rotation or crossover, and maybe the body isn't stabilizing the face through impact as much.
So when he says I've got this hang back left miss, that's a serious problem. So it's something we got to take serious, and we got to make sure that that's really what's happening.
With putting, the other thing is sometimes when I line up the ball, and I know I'll put the laser, I know where it's aimed, I set it up, I know where it's aimed, and it does not look like that to me.
JJ, will you grab me this putter? What do we got there? What's the shape?
7.2.
Okay, and does it matter the shape of the putter? It always feels like that? Like if you use different shapes? And
I'm honestly not sure. I haven't really experimented with that a whole lot.
Okay. So Michael's third wish is a very common one, and this is a putting problem that bothers lots of players. And that is, I do all my work, I read the green, I see the line, I use a line on the ball, I line it up, and then I stand over it, and it doesn't look right.
They get behind it, they know it's right. They get over it, they don't like it, and now they can start manipulating their stroke or their alignment, and that can create that mismatch in your brain.
There's nothing worse than you have that doubt. Right? Doubt is the killer of confidence. You want things to match when you stand over. This is very common, especially when your visual system is giving you faulty information. Anything else?
No.
All right, Jason, I'm gonna start with you. You had 3 wishes today.
Really, the biggest one is what we've just been fighting in general. Screenings, he's really clean. Right hip, we know, is the trouble area. When he starts that hang back and he gets the right hip, because he uses his right side so much that it has a tendency to get overworked a little bit. So most of our resets, everything we have
As
for
in,
him,
like mobility or strength, or
he'll start getting a little mobility reduction, but it's mostly we can correct it pretty quickly.
okay.
But it's something it's something I always keep an eye on. Like hip stuff's always in his programs in a warm-up perspective. But other than that, I mean, we missed 0 tournament rounds since I've started working with you. We do captures probably every 3-4 months.
Is anything there that we need to know about? Or?
No, 3D is scary good.
Adam, 3 wishes.
Just want to make sure everything we're doing is the best for him in terms of the structure of his swing, the base design of it. Obviously, from an injury prevention standpoint, to make sure he can still play on tour every day, not miss any tournaments. I feel pretty confident about where he is structurally, the framework of his swing. But if there's anything in there that we may have missed, we'd love to know your thoughts on those things.
The best thing, by the way, when you're hitting it well, is the best time. That's the best time in the world to get data. That way, because there'll be a day where you'll want to compare to that. That's why it's so good that they're collecting this data on you.
That's what Jason's been saying for years.
Yeah. So we have data since he was 14.
All right, now the real boss, Jeff. Jeff, you had 3 wishes for your man here. What would you ask for?
Oh gosh.
And just remember, he's not here. Earmuffs.
Yeah.
Okay, here.
I mean, we've talked about improving from like a mental standpoint. I think that's kind of the biggest area for growth right now. I feel like he has a tendency to kind of get down on himself fast a little
As
bit.
like a confidence thing, or just from being?
Sometimes you can watch him hit 5 perfect tee balls and he'll hit, you know, for instance, like a bad one, and all of a sudden, very quickly, he can go to, oh my gosh, I can't hit the ball well today. That sort of thing.
Hate that.
It hurts when it's true. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, there probably is a little truth to it, but yeah.
Do you feel like you search? Like if you had a bad shot, do you feel like you go into search mode real quick?
I don't know about search mode. Like,
Search mode, but
I guess, I don't know, maybe I have maybe if the ball goes in the fairway, but it doesn't like feel right or something, you know, I get a little frustrated with that.
Does you getting frustrated, you play better or worse?
I feel like definitely.
Hold on. Jeff, if he gets frustrated, does he play better or worse?
so the majority of the time, it's not as clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you're asking. You're like, you feel
Yeah.
like if you got back on focus, it'd be better.
Right.
Okay. All right.
That's probably fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Okay. What else, Jeff? Any shots you need? Any parts of the game that you're like, I think we could get this better? Or
Let's throw in there maybe bunker play
Yeah.
in general. Just higher, softer splashes. Just being able to, if you're short side yourself, hit those shots a little bit cleaner. On the tour levels, you know, it's like you got to be precise.
Yeah.
Height and spin to be a little bit better at
that's
that.
fair.
Low point gets a little too far back.
All right, so I'm gonna read this back to you,
Okay.
just to make sure we're on the same page. From a medical standpoint, you had a double hernia mesh when you were 7 years old, but you haven't noticed any residual from that at all. 6th grade, you got Lyme disease, but you were treated, took care of that, and you had this last year for about a month, this right groin pull, and there was a little QL spasm over there, but that's kind of cleaned up. Other than that, you've been living in a bubble, pretty clear, which I love. Superpower, like while you're on tour, ball striking, you're a good ball striker. You like to fade the long ones, get straighter as the club gets shorter. You got speed, and you're a competitive player, which I like. And then how we can help, the path goes too left on some of the shots, especially with the longer clubs. And you think it's because you're hanging back. And sometimes you finish high too with the same longer clubs.
Yep.
But I think, like Dave said, those might kind of go together a little bit there, but you want to look at that. And then on putting, you've got this, I call it the angel devil. You got the visual alignment, like the line says one thing, but your brain thinks the other thing, and you don't know who to believe. So visual alignment stuff there. You do wear contacts. And then the bunker play can be a little higher, softer. And then, Jeff, you asked a little bit about the mental. And by the way, what you asked about, every caddy wants that from every player. You got you all the same. You know, listen, there's a reason you're on tour, and you get frustrated when it's not perfect. Everybody's like that. You know what I mean? So that's very common. We get it straight?
Sounds about right.
So here's where I think our superpower is here. What we can do is, number one is we can provide your team with probably some more advanced data than they have access to. Force data, 3D data, flight data, all that stuff, and be able to give it to your team just to make sure, like you said, that there's nothing missing there. But we'll do a quick physical screen too, just to see if there's any insight there. So we'll do a quick screen on you. We will go have you warm up. We'll collect your data, and then we'll sit down and try and figure out this hanging back higher thing, just to give you our 2 cents on that. Fortunately, you have one of the best putting coaches in the world sitting to my right over here, so we'll go on the putting green here, and while you're out there, you should probably hit a couple bunker shots too by the green. Sound like a plan?
Sounds great.
Without any further ado, let's get going. We'll start doing a screen. We'll just start right here. All right, I always like to start with the physical. Kind of gives me some of the whys. Maybe he's going to swing the way he swings. So Jason Meisch, his trainer, has told me that he's got some stuff with the hips. He did say he's hanging back. That can be from hip mobility issues. So let's go see what he's got in the gym. Arms crossed, just like this. Okay, I'm just going to take a look at your posture real quick. Okay, imagine your is a bucket of water. We're just going to dump the water forward, and then we're going to dump the water backwards. Good. Does that shake sometimes? A little vibration?
Little bit,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, and imagine you're standing in a barrel. Don't touch the sides of the barrel. Just rotate in the barrel, but don't move your shoulders. Good. Don't move your lower body now. Just rotate your upper body. I love it when they've done the screen a million times. He already knows what we're going to do before I even tell him. Feet together, hands out like this. Keeping your heels on the ground. How low down can you squat, keeping those heels together?
That was impressive.
I'm here all week. I can show you some tricks. Okay, come on back up. Take your feet like shoulder width apart, toes pointing out, hands out. Let me see you do it again.
Yeah.
One more time, and slower this time. Okay, hold this over your head. Put it right on your head. So make sure your elbow's a little tighter. Good. Go ahead and press it straight up. Okay, same thing. You feel more weight on one leg versus the other?
No.
You don't?
I don't know if I feel one way.
Take your right foot, square your right foot up. Keep it square. You don't like that, do you?
It's harder. I mean, I want,
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
easy, you know.
Okay, let me steal that. Go down, let's go kneeling right here. Keeping that heel on the ground. Bring that knee towards me as far as you can. Come on back, back. See your toe pointing over here?
Yeah.
Let's make your foot this way, and I want your thigh to point the same way. Keeping those parallel with each other. Try and keep your heel on the ground. How far can it go? And then I want you to compare that to your left leg and tell me if either one's tighter. Just your perception.
Yeah, probably a little tighter on the right side.
Go back to the right again. Let me see the right again. Okay, lay on your back. You're going to grab both the knees and just pull your knees tight to your chest. Okay, this one I want you to grab both hands onto your left knee and pull to your right shoulder. Okay, now both on your right and pull to your left shoulder. Is this harder? Because it looks harder from here.
I feel a little, like, pinchy in the top.
But you don't feel that on the left?
Not really.
Okay. I want to feel that myself. Investigating this because Jason told me this is a potential problem. Let your left one go down. Okay. About to push here. Any discomfort? 0's no pain, 10's horrible pain. What was that?
0.5. I mean, like, not really. Maybe when it was in the most flex position.
Let's do the good side first. Let me just.
Yeah, I mean, that's like absolutely nothing.
Okay, so I'm going to come back over here.
Maybe a little bit, but like a 1, 2 maybe, yeah.
Okay. Okay, now you totally relax there. Let me see here. That's pretty good. So is it mainly the flexion or is it the rotation?
Flexion.
Okay.
We spend a ton of time, obviously, on deep squat, like as part of warm-ups and.
Yep. And the good news, labrum's totally intact. There's nothing over there, but I mean, there could be a little impingement there, but I wouldn't change probably anything you're doing. So it's pretty good. Okay, we're gonna have a contest. Which leg you going with? Or are they the same?
My left has always been a little bit easier.
But either one feel weak?
Jason makes me hold him for 2 minutes, so.
That's why I like Jason.
Not really.
So first impressions, I can see there is a little bit of tightness in the right hip, maybe even the right ankle a little bit. But overall, you can see that he's had a team around him that knows what they've been doing for a long time. He's used to doing these screens.
You know, when we get in the gym, he talked a little bit about some hip tightness. Those type of things could relate to this hanging back issue. I mean, he's pretty physically fit.
He's an athlete. You can just tell, and you can see that fitness isn't just something he added. This is like a lifestyle for him. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Do that again slowly. Come on back up. Is there a curvature?
I haven't.
Go back down again for me one more time. Come over here. See that?
Stand back up. Right, a little bit.
See this?
Yeah, just a tiny bit, right?
Like just step back here. See how the humping on this side over here?
Hyperdeveloped.
My right side's always been way
Yeah.
like
You're a right-handed golfer.
more
so-
developed or
Hyperdeveloped.
raised than my left side has.
Yes. I want you to have a seat on the ground. I'm just going to investigate that real fast. Legs all the way out. I want you to try and touch your toes here. And lay flat on your back. Hands like this, palms up. Keep your right leg down. Raise your left leg as high as you can. And switch. Okay, you're going to go hands and knees. And you're going to rock back like this and try and round your spine over. See it's still there too.
Yeah, just that it's like muscular hyperdevelopment.
Have you ever had any films?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, not that we would do anything, but it might be something to track. But
Keep an eye on
just to make sure there's not a
Doesn't keep growing.
little minor scoliosis there. Obviously, anytime you're in a unilateral sport, we always try and make sure we maintain
Yeah,
balance in
100%.
there.
100%.
It might never become a problem, but it's one of those things we always look at. And just rotate that as far as you can. Okay, let me see the right one. Okay, 5-iron posture. Let's take the arm out again and try it again. And the other side. Nice. Just pick one leg up off the ground. You pick. And left one up. You like your right one better? Let me see the other side. I answered that. Okay, yeah. Okay. When you're ready, you close your eyes. Nice. Let me see the other side. All right, but that's not a problem. I'm always looking for the big white elephant. That ain't it. Make sure this is pressed flat. Slowly raise your arms up, keeping those elbows locked. Pretty simple. And back down. And just perception-wise, just lift this one. Keep this pressed. Back down, and then lift this one. Tell me if there's any difference. Both pretty clean and easy.
Yeah.
Like it. Keeping your weight on your left leg. I just want to see you rotate as far as you can. Good. Put all your weight on your right leg. And rotate this way and just compare. Either of those easier? Right versus left?
I mean, historically, left has been easier.
Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit there. Yeah. Manually, it doesn't show up, but weight bearing is a little bit there. So an interesting thing in the gym and how the body works is you can have reduced range of motion for one of two reasons. You could have a mobility problem. In other words, there's something wrong with the joint or the tissue is tight. Or you can have what we call a stability problem. You have all the mobility in the world, but for some reason you can't stabilize that motion, so your body just doesn't let you turn it, right? That's called a stability problem. Michael's showing the latter. He's showing a stability problem. In other words, when he loads onto his right leg and we ask him to rotate, it's reduced. But when he just lays down and I just try and move it, he's got plenty of range of motion, which just means he's either guarding, protecting, or there's some type of stability issue on the right side. All your weight on your right leg again. Rotate that way now. Keeping your weight there. Now put all your weight on your left leg and rotate that way and tell me if there's any difference there. Those about the same?
Not really. Pretty easy on either side.
Yeah. Okay. Touch my thumb with your chin and go to the left. Touch my thumb. Either side feel tighter there, both pretty easy.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah. This is going to sound shocking to you, but I'm not finding anything different than your team.
Okay.
So keeping those knees touching slowly, how far can you rotate to the right with your knees touching? Good. Back to center. Keeping those knees touching. How far can you go left? And I want to compare if either way feels tight. Does that feel tighter?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks tighter. Okay, nice and slowly go left. Back to center. Switch legs. Let's go right. Is that always like that, Jason?
No, that's newer.
61-43.
Hate that.
Impressions from the physical. A little bit of core control, the way he tilts his pelvis. We've got some tightness in the right ankle and the right hip. And you think about it, core control with tightness in the right hip could lead to some type of improper loading into the back leg, which could lead to hanging back, right? So could make them sway, could make them avoid, all those things, could make it hard to drive off of the back leg to get onto the front leg. And then we notice this reduction in rotation with the trunk. Turning to the left, he's like 40-some degrees. To the right, he's like 60 degrees. So if the trunk doesn't want to rotate left or on his downswing, it could be easy just to let the arms fly across your body. And so it can describe some of the things he was complaining about in the interview. Right, so we got a little bit of that right hip.
So the feet together one. I haven't seen the feet together deep squat.
Oh, it takes away any valgus compensation, stuff like that. You can see as soon as I took away his foot flare stuff, he didn't like the squat.
Yeah.
And take that away, you'll see that. Still kicked ass. I mean, it's still, and we'll test power in the lab. So something interesting about the way the body works is you'll always try and take the path of least resistance. So think about with Michael, his right ankle is restricted, his right hip is restricted. So when the body tries to take a backswing, the body says, hey, hip, ankle, let's move. But if the hip and the ankle goes, sorry, boss, I can't move, it says, well, anything that can move, I need you to move more. So guess what he uses? He uses his trunk. And this is why we see great shoulder rotation with him, because he needs that. He needs something for his backswing. So he's going to overuse the trunk. So we should see excessive motion in the trunk with reduced hip and ankle. If the trunk was reduced, the hip was reduced, and the ankle was reduced, now I'd be really worried. You guys do split squat test too?
Yep, 8 rep max split squat.
Do you know what he's normally
He's
at?
210 to 220 right now.
Okay, all right. Let's go warm up, and then we'll go in the lab. Yeah. All right, so here's the good news about having the right team around you. Jason has been testing Michael since he was very young. He's got his strength numbers with him. We didn't even have enough weight in our gym to test him, right? So I don't think strength is a problem. We're still gonna test the power just to see what it's at, but it's great to have that data to be able to rely on. 26.4. PGA Tour average is about 27.5. Can you go a little bit higher?
I know it's not, but I can try.
I was kidding. Okay, 26.4. So my lying won't help. Okay, hands on hips. How high can you go? Okay, using your hands, you're going to go down squat, hold. When I say go, you're just going to jump straight up. Go. Same, 26. More gorilla than gazelle. 24 on the butt. All right, so whenever we do power testing, I'm always looking to see, do we have an engine problem or do we have a mechanic problem? In other words, if you can't hit the ball really far, it's either, hey, you just don't have the right technique or equipment, or maybe you're just not strong enough. Well, Michael, he's one of the biggest hitters on tour, and you can see one of the reasons is because of the size of the engine. His lower body, he had a 26-inch vertical jump, average on tours around 22 to 23 inches, so he's well above PGA Tour average. Core testing, he was able to do the sit-up and throw 24 feet, average on tours somewhere around 22, and then his chest pass was 23 feet, again, farther than PGA Tour average. 23. Normally, like, we're looking for 23, 22, 22. You're 26, 24, 23. I mean, your power numbers are already way above.
You know, when we took him through some of the power testing, you could see where his power is coming from. That explosiveness that we see with some of these younger players today. But just because you're explosive doesn't mean that mobility-wise you might still have some restrictions. So we saw a little bit of that in the gym and in our testing, and that could definitely relate to this issue he's having with hanging back.
Squeeze as hard as you can. Jeez Louise. 72, 72, 66.
You still find your average is about 63.
I tried 54.
54.
Yeah,
Oh.
72, 66. That's crazy strong there. You can tell, like I said a million times here, this kid's an athlete. Everything was above average. You can just see it's very well balanced. Now I'm gonna look to see what does the body do in the swing. I'm always looking for those body swing connections, right? So I see where the limitations are. It doesn't mean it's gonna show up in the swing, but if it does, it creates that body swing connection. So I'm gonna be looking for the hanging back and the high arms, the things he described, just to make sure feel and real are the same.
Go.
Almost got you, JJ.
Go.
Marker came off the ball again. I always like to know what your cruising club head speed is. And he said 126 mile an hour. Just so you know, average on PGA Tour is 117. 126 cruising means if he wanted to go after it, he could probably easily get into the mid 130s, which is crazy speed. Corey, that went about 20 yards. It broke right off the base. Good. Well, you're testing our new 3D printer. I like it. The tape didn't come off, the head popped off the base.
You know, right away you can see he has an incredible golf swing. Not only can he create a lot of power, even the sound of the ball coming off the club face.
I really, really like his swing. It's explosive, but it looks good. A nice stable base, looks like he's got a big turn.
Go. Go.
you're looking at someone with a lot of power. They're in the top echelon of the PGA Tour, of any tour. This is this new crop of players. They can even crack 190 ball speed or 126 to 128, 130 even clubhead speed. It's kind of exciting. These are superstars in the making.
That doesn't mean that he's not hanging back or hands aren't high, but man, first look, it looks really good.
He's a quick study.
Go.
We're just gonna get 5 of those real quick. Yep.
Go. 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 Sweet.
But then you see 1 or 2 shots that are just a little bit off, and you can see the body motion moving back. And we actually noticed it a little bit more with the iron than with the driver. There were some little things with the way he was setting up in his ball position. If the iron is setting up too far back, then that could be an issue where he's trying to stay back behind it. That could create that high release and that maybe odd left shot that he explained about.
Simulated bunker.
What kind of bunker shot?
The one that gets out of this bay, that doesn't hit up here in the lights, and the one that All right, so now we're gonna simulate a bunker shot, something we don't normally do in the 3D bay, but he asked about a higher, softer shot. Things that we look for here, when you're hitting bunker shots, you need a very solid foundation, right? Excessive motion in the lower body is never a good thing in bunker shots, so I'm definitely gonna be looking for that.
Ready, Corey? Go.
I felt like he set up a little bit too square and a little bit too tall, almost like he was pitching or chipping. In the bunker, to hit a high, soft shot, you need to get the handle lower. The more I can lower the handle, the more angle I create, which allows me to keep that club more cupped and more open. And then when I add the speed and the release, the ball tends to go higher.
Go. Go.
Nice. In bunker, micro movements make a big deal. So the force plates and the 3D are really important here just to see any movements that can affect this. We'll see what the data says. All right, so we're gonna start by looking at video first. So why don't you bring your chairs over here? Michael, when you're ready, I'm gonna give you the hot seat right here in the middle. We always kind of like to know like what you're looking at, what's going through your head. Yeah.
So you look at your swing a lot. So do you like what you see here? I'm just going to take you through it. I want to hear
So
your.
he starts to go, you tell him when to stop if there's things you're looking at. Or one of the things Dave and I always love to do is to kind of get inside the player's head and see what they think is important, right? Because, you know, the voices in your head are really important out there and they're talking to you all the time. And I like to know what they're saying, right? It gives us an idea of maybe if they're looking at the right thing or maybe they're looking at the wrong thing.
A lot of these young players today come from great coaching backgrounds. If they've been to university in the States, and the Division I teams today have incredible coaches, they have incredible facilities and great technology. So some of these players are coming in already very well versed at looking at their golf swing. So having them evaluate it for me, I like that. I like to see where they're coming from. And it kind of gives you an indication of who they are as a person. It gives me an indication of how I'm going to give them information back.
Because I was getting so far off, like making sure that my right hip doesn't slide right too far, you know, like I kind of pivot against it. I look at my right foot to make sure my big toe stays in contact with the ground. That's actually another thing that I didn't mention is it gets long. And so I feel like I'm always trying to shorten it, but when I do shorten it, it just feels weak, you know, it feels like not powerful.
How do you try and shorten it?
Just
Try and
stop
shorten
it shorter. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't feel like I have anything to work against. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you
like
don't feel the resistance
I'm not
to
at
the
the
coil.
end of
Yep.
anything, so then it just feels like super weak when I try to feel it short.
One of the common complaints we hear from players that have lots of mobility is that they don't know when to stop their backswing. In other words, for most of us, we have restrictions, right? And when we hit those walls or those restrictions, you know, hey, we're loaded. But if I'm very mobile, right, and I can rotate my shoulders, it's like there's no brake pedal, there's no place to stop. They want to feel that resistance so they know that they're loaded so they can start the downswing. When you have a consistent feel or that brake feeling, well, it's something you can repeat, and consistency is very important in this game.
So there's one thing we'll look at, and you mentioned this with the length of swing, that we'll look at under 3D, and we'll look at whether he arches his pelvis. So whenever I see this kind of little kink in the lower back, because if you think about it, if I go and I keep going and I start to arch my back, that can actually tilt my spine and get the club longer.
Yeah.
If I actually maintain my core and don't let it arch, it gives me the brake pedal that you need. So you just go. I mean, the swing is really good. I mean, you just go. But that would be the only area for me that I'd go, yeah, it looks a little curved. So we'll know that. We'll know whether that's in range, out of range. And that can be just because, hey, you wind up and you keep going. A lot of players that keep going will go into that.
Yeah.
But if they're trying to shorten their backswing just by shortening their arms, they don't feel they're loaded.
Yeah.
So as a result, they feel like, well, what the hell? I can't hit it anywhere now. Well, you're still going to hit it somewhere. But
no. Like I'll feel shorter and I'll go from 87 to 82 or something, and it's frustrating to see that.
Anytime you have rotation, which he has excessive rotation going back, like he's very good at moving into his trail side. Anytime the club gets a little bit long, maybe a little bit past parallel, we're always looking at over rotation and creating some kind of a brake pedal. So a little bit more core engagement could actually keep that in range. It would still create the coil, but it might tighten him up and make him feel a little bit shorter, which then he's going to want to go.
so to me, that's where I would look, is that I wouldn't look there. I would actually look here to see if you're losing any of that, which we'll know. But again, it looks like you load really well. You don't look like you're moving lateral at all there. And as we bring this back, so I mean, I don't see any sign of hang back there with the driver. It looks amazing.
That does not suck.
That
That's
does not
pretty
suck
damn
at
good.
all. I mean, the way you're pushing against the ground, we're going to know this with force and pressure, but it looks pretty ideal to me. You know, video is like an X-ray machine. This stuff's like an MRI machine. So we're going to look at the MRI and dig a little bit deeper. But to me, I mean, great job, guys. It's amazing.
Man, I mean, that is just so beautifully on plane. It's crazy. How bisects that right forearm there?
A little more cupping in my left wrist there than normal.
I think what's interesting with Michael when he's reviewing his swing, first thing I can tell is that he does this a lot, right? And you can see he's very picky, right? And again, most tour players have a little bit of obsessive compulsive, or else they wouldn't work hard enough to be a tour player. And you can see like this is something that he's done before. He's very picky. He looks at certain things. This is very important for us to know.
What did you think of that? The right foot, for example, because I know you visually like.
The right foot looked fine there.
So
Is
that,
what you're saying?
yes, but I think when you see it look a different way, you start to get a little unnerved. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
How do you like your right foot here?
With driver, it's not as much of an issue because I'm trying to like bomb it. But if I'm hitting an 8-iron, I'm like, I'll actually be like here, and my right foot will still be on the ground like that.
And it, I think for him, he's like, it just doesn't. Correct me if
doesn't
it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Not that it's not functional, but it just.
The flight's still fine. The ball flight's still.
No, like I'll hit the ball, you know, reasonably well, but when I look
That's
at like,
code for very good.
yeah,
Tell me what you think it should do.
like I would like to see like, yes, it goes in, but there's a little
Heel off.
here, you know, like it's not.
You don't. Yeah. Okay.
Does that make any sense? Because I feel like when I
just want to.
I look at other guys' swings, and I just feel like these are three guys. More like I was just looking at Adam. He, you know, when club is parallel post impact, he's like more like here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm still like down.
Yeah.
It's more
here.
aesthetics.
Yeah.
A lot of young players, as they're developing, they look at other swings. The danger is when you get on tour like he is, and they start comparing their golf swings to other golf swings they like. And that can be a rabbit hole that I've seen a lot of young players go down. You can copy maybe some of their practice drills, maybe some of their practice habits, but you want to develop your own swing. You've got to be your best self.
I'll just tell you from a biomechanics standpoint, everything. Way worse for your heel to go this way than to go this way.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do.
way worse for the heel to go up. The danger of the right foot staying on the ground are only two things. Is number one is if you hang back. If you weight shift and goes over here, this is actually an advantage.
Yeah.
If you hang back, that can be an issue. And then anytime this stays on the ground long, it can put a little more stress on your spine.
Yeah.
A little bit. So those are. But from a ball flight standpoint.
It shouldn't make that much of a difference.
Not really, yeah. You're now with the best players in the world. You look left, you see great players. You look right, you see great players. And you start comparing yourself to players. It's really easy to get caught up in aesthetics. Everybody has a different body. What your swing should look like should match what your body can do. So to me, it's more about function. Does it work versus what does it look like? It's something that's really important, especially for young guys to understand is how many ways is there to hit a golf ball?
A lot.
Yeah, so no one says you're supposed to swing like
Anybody.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you have the same body, there might be some different things on there. Even though I get it, those are some great golf swings to look at. Just make sure that there's a problem.
Don't invent the problem, right?
Yeah, don't invent the problem.
It's just part of the game today. To try and get better, they're trying to be the best they can, and they're always refining. I always think this is a little bit dangerous, and I think good coaches give them things to look at. Maybe a single point of intention in that. Here's what we're working on to get you to the next level.
I think it's really important when you have players that are very into their mechanics, they want to look at things, they want to know why things happen, is to give them benchmarks. Focus their attention on what matters, right? It's very easy for players to look at a million things, but if you say, these are the 3 things that you really should be looking at, and I want you to help me check these things, you can focus their attention in the right place. Okay, so now we're going over here if you guys want to slide down. I'm hedging my bets here. Go to the kinematic sequence on the driver. All right, so now that we've looked at the swing, we're going to go look at the data, and this gives us really what's happening. We're going to look at the force plates, the kinetics to see how he creates power. We're going to look at the kinematics, even looking at, like, I see he has this huge shoulder turn, looks like he arches his back. I want to know if this is good or bad. Let's go to the data. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to scan these graphs, and then we'll talk about what we need to talk about. Okay. So give me a second real quick. And Jason, and you guys stop me at any time you want. So we're going to go force plate first, just so you guys can see sequence there. And then laterals up top, frontal plane, horizontal, and then vertical. Show me the, on the skeleton, the vertical peak, timing-wise. Just take me right to peak. I'm in. How good is that? Holy moly. All right, so first impression on the force plates is he's got the perfect sequence that we look for. Lateral, rock, twist, jump, which we see with most great players. The numbers are right where we would want to see, or higher, which is great. But the thing that really jumps out to me on the driver is how early he does his ground reaction forces. You know, we always say the earlier you do this, the more time you have to apply force and velocity to the club. And Michael's one of the earliest I've seen. He literally is applying force to the club, and it's still back here in his downswing. I mean, it's way before shaft vertical, which is what we see normal on PGA Tour, and this just gives him the ability to apply what we call impulse, a lot of force and a lot of speed for a long time. I mean, that's insane right there. You don't even know why, but fist bump. See, that's good. Show me plumb bob. Man, I guess.
What is plumb bob position?
So this is, if I drop the plumb bob down, happen to have one here, from the center of your pelvis, where it is in relationship to the center of your stance, just to see where you're setting up. And that was perfect. You don't have to think about that. And then go show me the pelvis. Actually, Dave, there's not a lot there.
It's not a lot.
Not a lot of arching there, so that's pretty good. He starts at 36, but it goes down. It goes down. It's probably going to be. So he's 48. Show me the thorax real quick. That's the problem. He's 125. He has to do that. I mean, dude, that's. You get another fist bump. Good night. Your spine works in what's called coupled motion. As you rotate, your spine extends at the same time. That's just normal. Now, if I look at most players, they turn their shoulders about 90 degrees. At 90 degrees, their spine extends about 35 degrees. Now, if I keep rotating, like if I'm Michael Brennan, I'm really flexible with my upper body and I keep turning, my spine keeps extending. So a lot of times, if you have big shoulder turns, you get big extension in your spine, and it can lead to things like S posture or reverse spine angle. Some of the things that we talk a lot about that are problematic, but if it's just because you're rotating farther, that's now normal, right? So it's really in context. If you go into these excessive arching in your lower back and you've only turned your shoulders 70 degrees, that's not normal. If you've turned your shoulders 125 degrees, well, now you need some extension because it's coupled. So it's negative 21, but that's because he's got 125 degrees to turn. We're looking at that arching in your back over there. When you rotate, the spine extends. You don't have to think about it, that just happens automatically. The more you rotate, the more it keeps extending. So you have a little extension there, but you rotated almost 25 degrees more than most guys, so you should have a little more arch there, or else your spine would break.
Is there a proportion to that usually?
Your spine should be within about 5 to 7 degrees of extension at 90 degrees.
Okay.
He's at 125.
Certainly.
So Dave's like, hey, he looks like he's more than 5. He's at 21 degrees instead of 5, but he's also 25 degrees more turn than most guys, so it's always going to keep adding there. So
that could take the club longer.
That makes the club longer. That would be a brake pedal. If you want to do a brake pedal, that would be the brake pedal, right?
If we wanted to shorten it, that you would stabilize that a little bit to stop the rotation.
And it goes 30, the trunk goes 30 instead of 30, so it flattens a little bit because of that, but that's just the turn. The data is confirming what I was suspecting. He's got this incredible shoulder turn. Normal shoulder turn on the PGA Tour is 90 degrees. He's over 125 degrees. This also leads to excessive arching in his lower back, but that's normal from the coupled motion. He goes to almost 25 degrees of extension. Normal's around 5, but with a 125 degree shoulder turn, he kind of needs to do that. So I'm okay with that as long as he keeps that big shoulder turn and he keeps his core nice and stable in the gym. If we actually prevent him from extending, almost make him keep his core engaged and don't let his spine extend, it'll give him the brake pedal he wants. So it's something we need to discuss with his team.
At your speed at 188, if accuracy becomes an issue, we might go after it, but not to drop him to 182, to drop him to 187, but straighter. I mean, as you get into the bigger courses and the more difficult golf courses, I mean, driver's a specialty club. He's going to hit it at his speed 8 times around if he's lucky.
By the way, so Corey puts the surf line, and you can see his force alignment. You can set up and you can have your forces this way. He's pretty square, and you can watch that through the entire swing. And you can watch go to the downswing. Watch right here, the right toe to left heel. That's so good. Okay, let me see the iron now. Let's go iron kinetics. You got to show me that on the skeleton. That looks a lot later. All right, so now things start to get a little interesting when we look at the iron. Driver looked amazing, and I can see why it's a superpower. But on the iron, we're starting to see something a little different. Go to the peak of that vertical. Wow. That 6 iron's a lot later.
When he pushes, it happens so early. And that's what we see with the very biggest hitters, the world-long drivers, very early with their kinetic forces. But one of the things we noticed is as the club actually got shorter into his iron swing, they were actually later.
You see that?
Yeah,
I mean, it should be later, but that's a lot later. Go back to the kinetics. Let me see there again. And show me the driver kinetics again. Look at Dave.
Yeah.
Go to the iron.
Yeah. It's interesting. He's setting up more like the driver, the iron.
But we started to notice that there are a couple little things in his golf swing that could cause late with the irons. If my irons are back where my driver is, that's not great for iron contact, and that could definitely create hanging back.
You guys are gonna laugh. I think you might be hanging back. I'm just kidding. I think you're hanging back. I think your hands might be going high and your path might be going left. Thanks for coming in. I'm kind of laughing, but it might be that. Listen, with the team around you, I would expect that you're working on the right stuff. Yeah. So this is not.
The other thing, it's great to have this data now. Because if anything changes, you want to come back and we can compare it.
The arches works on the iron.
I know it is. It's starting there more. So I think his pelvis, I think his plumb bob starts.
Show me the plumb bob on the iron. Normally when you look at a player, and I look at how they set up, with an iron, as the iron gets shorter, we move our setup more left, more forward, right, towards the lead side. With Michael, it was kind of interesting. His iron, he set up with his plumb bob, or the center of his pelvis, farther back than his driver. It's going the wrong direction. This could be now the hanging back feeling he's feeling, right? If I set up too far back, it's easy to stay back there, right? So something we're gonna explore even further. Okay, so on the iron, show me the pelvis again, and then show me let me see the trunk. Yeah. Still has a 120-degree turn there. It's just crazy. You get so many great numbers, man. It's weird. Is that trunk going forward that much? Let me see the pelvis there on the iron. Here's so towards the target is positive, towards the ball is positive, so up is positive. So you see he goes about 3.3 inches. So there's the residual off the ball. I can see where he said he was off the ball there, but it's not really like trunk going off the ball. It's pelvis a little bit. So there's just a little bit bump, but it's a stable bump. Go back to the pelvis on the iron there, and tell me the red number at impact. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of lateral on the iron. So, okay, all kidding aside, the pelvis on the iron is late shifting weight. So the driver, not so bad. The iron is definitely 100%. I'm seeing the hanging back a little bit and the staying back on the right leg. I'll show you the evidence of this, even though you already told me this, but at least we're verifying this with data. Go driver kinetics. This graph here is measuring the force plate and measuring where you're pushing the hardest when you start to drive towards the target. This black line is the top of the backswing. Notice he starts pushing the hardest before the top of the backswing. So he gets right over here and he's this lateral weight shift, which is what we normally see. You go to the iron kinetics. Now look at the iron. So on the iron, it's like he got to the top of his backswing, he starts to go, and then he's going. So it's just a little bit later. He starts pushing later, which is hanging back a little bit. Because normally we would see the iron going a little earlier. You're kind of iron, you're more covering. Driver, you're almost staying back a little bit more. To see the iron back farther, I'm like, that doesn't make sense, right? Unless you're hanging back.
Looking at what we call the plumb bob, which is your center of mass. With the driver, it should always be about a ½ inch to an inch behind the center of your stance. And then you load from there and then you go lateral. Well, he was setting up like that with the irons, and most good players with the irons, it's center to a little bit left. And you know, that makes sense when you think about it. An iron I'm trying to hit down on, a driver I'm trying to hit a little bit up on.
What's interesting too is like, this is how hard he's pushing, about 19% of his body weight. If we go to the iron, it's 23. He pushes harder with the iron, it's just later. I would think the driver would push harder too, so it's just a little ass backwards a little bit over there. What we normally see is when guys push lateral, they start creating force from the ground. The force plate tells us how you start your power. The 3D tells us how you transfer it through your body. We're just looking to see, I don't care what your swing looks like. You're looking at video, I could care less, right? What I want to know is your swing efficient or not? If it's efficient, you can look like Jim Furyk and you can win a lot of tournaments. One of the things we look at for efficiency is when you create all this power, how early you create the power. We always say, if I put you on a chair with wheels, and I put you 1 foot away from a wall, and I push you into the wall, I could hurt you, but I couldn't kill you. If we get 50 feet away and I can do a running start, I can do a lot more damage. Why is that?
Because you have, a longer time of acceleration.
Time. I have more time to apply that force and velocity. So what we know is that if you start applying force to the club early, you'll have more time to create power, whereas if you don't start applying force till the club's down here, there's not a lot of time. So what we've noticed is on big hitters, they tend to apply force really early in the swing. So you need to start the force early to be able to start applying it early. Yeah. If I look at your driver, look where the shaft is, where your last ground reaction force, wherever you're done, the shaft is up here, right? PGA Tour average is shaft vertical. You're way before this is why you're a long hitter. You start applying, like you're 40 feet away and most PGA Tour players are 25 feet away.
Gotcha.
So you're starting to apply force. Now show me that on the iron.
It's much later.
Much later.
Much later, I saw that.
Here's the iron. Okay, it's late, but why is it late? Well, you started your ground reaction forces later. I showed you that earlier, right? So you start everything later. Now, an iron should be a little bit later because you don't have to create as much power, right? But that's a big difference. There's a lot there, and it's just more evidence that he's a little delayed on the irons. When you create lateral force, in other words, when you push from your back leg to weight shift to get onto your lead side so you don't hang back, your trail side pushes. And let's say your trail side pushes at 20% of your body weight. That pushes you over to your lead side, and then your lead side has to brake and turns it into rotation. The lead side almost always brakes about 140 to 150% more than the trail side pushes. Michael does that with his iron. With his driver, it's actually reversed. The trail side pushes more than the brakes. I'm noticing he's not using the brakes on his lead side. That's either because he's hanging back and he's not getting over here to hit the brakes, or the trail side's dominating, but now it's starting to make sense. This is something we need to clean up.
Do you want to see the wedge vertical?
I would love to see the wedge. That's great. Dave, see how we got the 1-3-2 we were talking about the other day? And notice the rock versus twist. All right, show me Kinemax.
That's interesting.
So normally on this, I'd want blue and green to be tighter. Maybe even reversal on those. All right, so now we're looking at the bunker shot, and something really interesting about the bunker shot is it's a different kinematic sequence. In other words, how energy transfers through the body. Typically on a bunker shot, what will happen is the player will release the club. They'll start to almost throw the club early. When you throw a club early, it kind of kills your arm speed. When your arm speed's killed, there's nothing to slow down your trunk, because when your arms fire, it slows down your trunk. But if the club killed your arms, there's nothing slowing down your trunk. So what we'll see with a lot of great bunker players, their trunk will rotate faster than their arms. I don't see that with Michael, right? So I'm seeing his is more like a full swing, which isn't the best thing here for the bunker. So it's making me think there is an efficiency problem in the bunker, so we probably can improve this as well. So he goes...
Y is towards the ball, X is towards the target.
So you're saying he's going away and then towards the target?
Yeah, so he's probably swaying a little bit.
So now that's a problem. That's what you need to look at in the bunker. You can't sway in a bunker.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing this lower body instability in the bunker shot. And that can explain everything we were talking about, from the sequence to the inability to hit the splash shot. It's really important to have a solid foundation in the bunker, right? Where you enter into the sand dictates how much sand's going to be under the ball and how far the ball is going to go. If one time you hit 2 inches behind the ball, the next time you hit 1 inch behind the ball, the amount of sand that you get will change the trajectory, the distance, the height, all those things will change. So you want repeatability entry into the spot that you're aiming. When the platform is swaying, rocking back and forth, it's really hard to control the low point in the bunker. We've got to eliminate that sway. Yeah, so how much was 2.2? That, yeah, you gotta fix that. You can't do that. That's what's going on with the bunker. You asked about that high splash. Yep. Fix that. That's easy. We know, we'll get to that. I promise we'll show you that. Yeah.
It's actually kind of the whole theme here, though, is that hang back. It's kind of feeds that. He's hanging back in the bunker.
How would you get him there sooner, not go back as far?
Start him there. I would start. I'd move everything over and keep him there.
Got it.
So I always say, like, imagine, I always call it finish where you start. Plumb bob here, right? So imagine the plumb bob's here. For a driver, the plumb bob's slightly back of the center stance. It stays there, and then the downswing it goes. With an iron, it's slightly forward. It stays there in the backswing, and then it goes more. So what I would just say on the bunker, make sure it's forward, and in the backswing, stay there, and everything can go forward. Just don't go back. Look at the trunk on the wedge. Farthest red line at the bottom. So actually your pelvis goes 2.2, your trunk goes 1.4. So actually the pelvis does go more than the trunk. So if I'm going here, it goes here. And what that does is it tilts this too. Like I wouldn't want that either. All right, normally, and this is with all shots in the bag, right? Normally you're gonna rotate, and as you rotate, you also move laterally, right? But typically the upper body moves more lateral, more away from the target than the lower body. Lower body is quieter from a lateral motion, upper body is winding and coiling. So you'll see the upper body leaning away from the target. With Michael, because his lower body is swaying, the lower body actually moves more lateral away from the target. Now the trunk gets in front of the lower body. There's not many sports where it's good to get your trunk in front of your lower body. When you do this, sequencing, timing, all those things become very challenging. So first of all, we've cruised through all that real quick. I'm going to tell you, like, you don't need any swing changes. This is freaking, the data is ridiculous. I mean, I can spend the next 3 hours showing you how good this is, right? From an efficiency standpoint, your sequences are perfect. In other words, the timing of when you move your body parts. This is for how you generate power and how you transfer power. Your numbers, I don't need to tell you you're long, but your numbers are way above our PGA Tour averages. Like our average trunk velocity is 700 degrees per second. You were 909. Like, I mean, it's insane how fast some of your body parts are moving. So, I mean, I'm impressed. It's like, that's why you got 2 fist bumps, right? So there's some good stuff there. The main thing that we're seeing, I think Dave already talked about, is we are seeing some extension in your spine, but I think it's because you're rotating so much. If you did want to do a shorter swing, Dave's right, we'd have to put a brake pedal there. And that's up for you guys to decide whether you want to do that or not. Yep. You feel like that's important to do, or do you feel like?
I just think when you talk about lengthening the swing at his speed, like to me, the easy brake pedal, the thought process is, imagine you got 2 power cords like this. You plug them in at address. Don't let them come unplugged. What you're doing is you rotate so much that they actually come unplugged.
Great,
right?
Great visual.
Which will take this long. Yeah. So if you just felt on a few swings that I'm engaged, I'm going to try and keep that engaged. I think you'll feel a little bit shorter, but you'll still feel coiled.
That's only if you want to make it shorter. You don't have to.
I just want to make sure that like it feels like the end of my swing.
Well, watch. Stand over here. Set up like you're going to hit. Imagine the belt's a bucket of water. Dump the water forward. Big arch in your back. Now keep it arched and just take a big back swing. Rotate as far as you can. Okay. Now come back. Now dump the water backwards. Now turn as far as you can. It's much shorter. There's the brake pedal. That's what Dave's saying is if you need a brake pedal to feel resistance, that makes you feel the resistance. If you arch your back, you can try and stop your arms, but you won't feel any resistance. Yeah. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense.
We only found like 3 or 4 things in your physical screen that had any significance. One of them is that shaking. Yeah. When I asked you to tilt the water backwards, the reason we do that is it tells me, are you used to doing this? No, you're used to dumping the water forward, being arched.
How can I like train that?
You just need a good trainer, somebody who's done this before and knows how to. Jason's got a million exercises you can do this, but you can just start consciously starting to feel that control. The last thing in the world we want you to do is try and do this in your swing. I think you should train that in the gym, like train those feelings, and then if you need the brake pedal, that's how you do it.
Because I've definitely been trying to like be centered, which I can see how that.
Correct.
Definitely.
Yeah. So just so you know, by the way, off the ball, like moving off the ball is a problem with your lower body. Upper body is not a problem. So if the upper body moves off the ball here, that's not a problem. You went like this, your pelvis moved over here. If this goes over here, I can't show you anybody really good doing that. We got problems with that. Does that make sense?
We're trying to figure out a way to get him to hit a higher, softer shot out of the bunker. We also need him to move into that lead side a little bit better, stop over rotating and hanging back with the iron. We want the ball a little bit further forward. We don't want to lean left. We want to be set up a little bit more behind it so that we can go into it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So what I was saying, I can see the residual of your moving off. It's from your lower body move. Like with your driver, it still moves 3 inches over here. And I would say on most of our guys, it's maximum like an inch. So there's still more movement than I would say normal. But It's hard for me to, because the data is so good, it's hard for me to say I would change anything, but just know I can kind of see that there. Let's just say, I think our data is verifying what your team's telling you. So what have you done to stop the hanging back?
I mean, just feel like I'm getting more.
You look like, every time when you do something, you look like you're trying to control this. Are you trying to control this?
What do you mean control this?
When you said, I tried to do this, tried to do what? Were you trying to move your trunk, your lower body?
So I guess when I'm trying to get forward, I feel like left knee is getting forward, left shoulder is kind of going down and forward. And that has been my feel like there, so then I can turn off of that as opposed to turning off of that.
Interesting. That's the problem. I need to talk to you guys for a second. Can you give us a second?
Yeah.
Come on, because you guys know the history here.
So a lot of times with coaches, they have way more previous information on what's been tried, what the players heard, what might be dangerous to say out loud. So a lot of times we'll pull the coaches aside and say, hey, we're seeing this. Is this something you've seen in the past? Have you tried something here? Give us some previous information. Do you think this is something we want to change right now? This might be in the middle of the season. Maybe this is a conversation we have at the end of the season. We just need a little bit more information before we open our mouths sometimes.
When I say hanging back, the way we define hanging back is not really center mass moving over here. It's when forces start happening over here. So his forces are later going onto the left leg. When you spend a lot of time trying to load the left leg and then you push, it's later. Whereas if you're over here and you push, it's earlier.
Sure.
Which is why his driver's earlier.
Yeah, his pressure shift isn't very good on force plates. Like, it's, for the quantity of what we're looking at, are very low.
I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not sure we should care how much weight shift he has versus how sooner he starts pushing from his lead leg. To me, he just said to me, I'm gonna go longer into this and then I'm gonna push. I'm like, that's the problem. You're going longer. Like, I want you to push earlier. If I'm looking at a force plate and I want to see when the left goes, I can go like this and the left goes. If I go like this, move over here and then go, the left was later. Weight shift delays me, right? So now a lot of guys in the backswing are over here and then they can just start. If I'm over here and then I feel like I go over here, well, now it's forever before you're over here. Does that make sense? So a lot of guys that go off the ball, then they feel like they got to get over here. By the time they push, I'm like, dude, it's so late. Charlie Hoffman gave me a great analogy. He said, imagine this is the edge of a swimming pool, right? And he's like, there's a noodle right here. So you're asking me to push the noodle. He goes, I'm stepping in the pool and then trying to push the noodle. I'm like, yes.
Interesting.
It's a much subtler move. And I think with the world of force and pressure, everybody keeps thinking this. And we're going, no, I just did.
So they see the force plate
It looks like I'm still back.
more left,
I
and they
actually
think
did.
I need to go more left. It's just you need to start pushing earlier.
Do you think he needs to move the pelvis a little bit less?
I think.
Or is it just more pushing sooner?
So that's a great question. So he goes back,
2.2.
and then he goes forward. I think with the
Late.
iron, we might want to start it forward and keep it there, and then it'll just go.
So saying more centered pivot is not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing.
For his iron.
For an irons.
Yes.
Because that's what's hurting his bunker game too, like his short.
Yes. Have you guys focused on that before, or is that something?
We've
Would that be
focused
different?
over the years of trying to be more centered.
He's moving his trunk, and I'm like, I don't see the pelvis moving. So that's what I would do on an iron. Tell me, if I'm him, tell me what you would tell me.
We want you to be just a tiny bit more centered at the setup and
Yep.
just start things a little bit sooner.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. Yep. Okay. All right. I wanted to know some history. That's why we're out there, like what you used to do, blah, blah, blah. I think the ultimate takeaway here is the plumb bob, is we're going to move the plumb bob a little more centered, almost like more of a centered pivot. On irons, not on driver, yeah, on irons. Keep your driver, keep doing what you're doing. Get this a little more centered, if not even a little forward, and keep it there, and then go, and a lot of good stuff's going to happen. I think it's that simple, right? The reason I say that is, I think in your mind, you're going, I'm trying to get over here earlier because you're hanging back.
Yeah.
If you sway over here, and then you spend time going over here, by the time you push, it's way too late.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get there, let's just start there and turn and go. It'll be earlier.
Okay.
I think it's that simple. I don't want to do any crazy changes. This is so freaking good. Anybody that tells you that you need to make changes to your swing, you need to run. This is freaking about as efficient gets. I'm not kidding. I mean, I don't lie. He'll tell you. I'll tell you if there's stuff on there. This is like, you got to convince me that we should do anything. So we're going to try that. I think what we're going to do is go on the putting green first too, and then we're going to come back and hit. Let's grab your putter.
We're going to go out on the putting green. We're going to be looking for, remember, he spends all this time lining up the ball
And then when he gets over to make the putt, he looks at the line, it doesn't look right.
But we know there's an alignment issue because he's already told us. So what we do is we have him go through his normal approach and try and simulate what he told us. And what we're trying to do is get that visual perception so that when he looks towards his target from on side on, he now feels like everything's lined up.
I'm just starting to learn an aim point.
It's fine.
So
Let me see. I mean, if you feel comfortable doing aim point, do it. Go through your normal process. Aim point's been around for quite a while now. It's a form of green reading, and it's a very simple way to understand slope, and then there's a calculation between the amount of slope and where you should aim. So some players benefit from it exceptionally because for some players it just simplifies the approach. It gives them something to latch onto. That worked.
but that's generally what the process
That's your
looks
normal
like.
process. Okay.
That's what I want it to be.
That's what you want it to be.
Yeah. Before that, instead of aim pointing, I would just stand behind it and read it and then
Yeah.
line it up and then do it. But
And what did you feel you learned most from aim point?
Well, one thing that has kind of opened my eyes with aim point is I always thought that when I would find a read and I would put the ball down and then I would stand over it and it felt like really low or something, I thought that's because the read was super low, but then I was using a perfect putter like track, and then I set up and I knew where it was aimed and I knew where it was, and it felt way different than what I thought. And so then this whole time I'm thinking, man, my reads
Are not matching.
you know, are not matching, but it could just be like I'm not seeing what I'm actually lining up, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay,
I've run
let's hit one more that's a little bit longer. Things like aim point can be very, very beneficial. I think the danger is you should still always feel speed first. The break you see is based on the speed you're going to hit it. So the faster you get to understand speed control, this is shiny, this is into the grain, that tends to help your green reading.
This might simplify his alignment process with this aim point because it's giving him more, he feels like it's giving him more of a structure.
My concern would just make sure the lines match up, that he's, like, is the line at the hole and does he think it's at the hole?
It's three basic things. You got to start the ball on line, you got to have consistent speed, and you got to be able to read a green. But the fourth one is this, what you put in your head. The mind can play tricks on you, and if you start looking at lines and things don't match, now you don't believe anything.
Well, let me just see a little bit of a shorter one here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the tendencies we see with eye dominance. If you're right eye dominant and you play golf right-handed, that's called same side dominance. If you're right-handed in golf but you're left eye dominant, that's called cross dominance. Michael is same side dominant. 80% of the population is same side dominant. Now, what does that mean? Players who are same side dominant, they tend to putt with the ball slightly farther back than people that are cross dominant. It's easier for their eye to get behind the ball. It's not something they do consciously, but in general, the ball tends to be farther back. Here, don't look at the target, just look at the ball. Line up square to that line. Get yourself set. Okay, now look, what do you think you're pointing at? Tell me if it's like right edge, ball right, center, ball left. What does it feel like to you?
If I were to say anything, I would say it's probably left edge. Inside left.
Okay, come over here with both, look down, tell me where it's at, squat down there, get close.
Yeah, to me it looks like right edge.
So now you thought it was left edge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do this. I want you to set up more open. The second tendency we see with same side dominant is because the size of your nose can make your vision with your dominant hard to see the hole because your nose is in the way if you're same side dominant. A lot of times it's easier if they're open a little bit. They can actually see the hole better. So a common tendency we see with putting with same side dominant players is the ball is slightly farther back and their stance tends to be slightly open. Set up a little more open. Just exaggerate, like nothing that you would actually play with. Okay, now once you're set up there, now look, where's it aiming now?
I don't know, it looks kind of the same to me.
Okay, so now look at the ball, set up close for me. Exaggerate close. Just want to see if this messes with your vision at all.
Looks almost more left that way.
That looks more left? Okay, let's go ball forward. Once you're set, let's see where it's aiming.
That changes, that shifted it out right.
Now with Michael, I am noticing the ball is farther back than normal, but he's still not matching up. So what we do is we do something called the monkey dance, and that is put the line down, make sure it's perfect, stand up, you're gonna see it doesn't match, but now I want you to experiment. Let's move the ball forward, let's move the ball back, let's open up, let's close. And every time you make a move, now look to see, does the line look better? And a lot of times what you're gonna find is, oh my God, when I get into a certain position, now the line looks like it's correct. When you find that position, it's gonna tell us a lot.
Okay, let's go ball back.
Left.
Okay, so maybe the ball's too far back.
Yeah.
Let's try the ball a little farther forward.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I want them to match. You know where it's aiming. It needs to look like where it's aiming now. Isn't that crazy how much that can change that? Did it look kind of back to you too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked back to me too. Yeah, backhand open. Yeah.
When you get somebody that says they align it great, but they don't feel comfortable when they walk around and set up over it, now you just do the monkey dance. So by moving the ball a little bit forward, by opening his stance, by moving him around, we start to narrow down what that should be for him.
Yeah, one thing that, I saw Paul the other day that I did is, his overhead camera that he loves to use, my head was like, leaning, favoring my left foot.
Kind of like full swing. Good.
And so he was trying to get me to where I was more, at least just centered, between my feet and stuff, and my head was more centered in my body, because my pressure, I was like 54% front foot.
I just want you to understand how dramatically that changed your alignment when you moved the ball forward and back. Your open and close didn't make a huge difference, but as soon as you're like, oh my God, that moved a lot, right? So when you moved the ball forward, your aim visualization went right.
Yeah.
So if the ball's too far back, your visualization is going to look left.
Is this forward? That feels forward to me, and that looks pretty good.
It could be that stupid simple. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't look forward, right? I mean, that's yeah. What I don't want is any confidence hits. You know what I mean? So if you set up the line and you get up there, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't think this is right. That's a confidence hit.
That's what happens to me.
Right. I don't want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Whether you're wrong or not, as long as you don't know you're wrong, we're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can see the little test. I call that the monkey dance. That little test right there.
Yeah.
The open closed wasn't as dramatic. Ball back was affecting you a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think you figure out where it is, where it lines up, and let's just go with that. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Don't make this hard. You don't need a lot of changes, dude.
Yeah. So just maybe bump it up a little bit.
You experiment until everything lines up.
Looks good.
So put a big black line and make sure it's perfect. Try right break, left break, uphill, downhill, and experiment. And you're going to go, when the ball's here, everything matches up. That's what we're playing with.
Okay.
And you'll see right away when the ball's too far back, it won't match up. Ball's too far forward, it won't match up. There'll be a spot where you're like, dude, now I feel confident.
Okay.
You never want to lose confidence, right? And if you have the right side of your body saying, hey, the line's correct, but the left side of your body saying, oh, it's not correct, you get doubt, right? So even if you're wrong, I'd rather you be confident that you're right. So with Michael, and again, this is very common with same side dominant, he'd almost drifted the ball too far back. As he moved the ball slightly farther forward, which is probably still farther back than most players, all of a sudden the lines matched.
Well, that's also, tracks. I was in my stroke. I had my head was too far forward, and the putter was kind of getting up a little too high and then finishing too low.
Yep. And watch this. If the ball's back over here, Paul's cameras are going to go, your head's too far forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just think about that, right?
Yeah, so I want, I was trying to get my eyes more back here to where
But the same thing,
like
shifting the ball forward kind of does that automatically too. So
no, that's what I'm saying. It matches. Perfect.
Let's look at the bunker. Sandwich.
One of the things I always like to do too is ask his team, hey, is there any wishes you would have that maybe Michael didn't ask for? And they did say that if they were to add one thing, would be a little more control or higher, softer out of the bunker. Now Michael's playing on the PGA Tour now. You can get yourself into some tricky bunkers out there, and it would be great to have that weapon as part of your tool bag. From the data, we noticed a little unstable base. Lower body was swaying. Anytime you do that, entry point can change. We really need to control the low point in the swing and bunkers, so we're really going to work on stabilizing that lower body.
So you want to anchor yourself more into this post right here. Leave this foot where it is, but stay there. And then feel like you're pivoting around there and driving around there. Don't move off it.
Yeah, so for me, it feels like I'm used to going.
Yes. Stay there.
It feels like my left knee is like tracking more out as that's the feel for me. That's what it feels
That's
like.
the feel right now.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been moving off it, so I'm just trying to get him to feel like he's staying more on that side.
Anytime you have a player that complains or his team is saying he needs to have a bit of a higher, softer shot out of the bunker, there's a couple things that come into mind. How is he opening or setting the face at address and on the backswing? And then where is he leaning? Is he leaning left? Is the shaft leaning too far forward? Is he getting that full loft or the bounce of the club into the sand correctly?
So same thing, this short front one.
Oh, I was trying to go to that short front one.
Yeah. So the only other thing I would do there, Greg, is I think he needs to get further away and the handle lower for this shot.
Sands can be different, bounces can be different. There are a lot of little parameters. I mean, usually what creates high soft shots out of the bunker is you have to have speed. Usually you want the handle to be a little bit lower so that you can create the openness to the face. And really understanding when you get in the sand what you're dealing with can have a lot of effects on how the ball comes out.
So how do you adjust trajectory?
Loft on club.
You don't change handle height.
I mean, I guess maybe if I was like, if I were hitting a 7-iron out of here, I went and saw Seekman a few times, and that's like one thing that he likes to do. You know, then I feel like I would have to go get in here, you know, and drop the back foot and then get the hands like super low.
Seek said exactly what Dave just said. Yeah, get the handle a little lower on this. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, for this shot here, I think you could get a little lower and a little further away so it shallows out your arc. I think it'll be easier to slide it underneath.
Like this way?
Yeah, like there.
So I'm gonna give you some data here.
Okay.
If I put a dot in the center of your pelvis,
Yeah.
right, the best finesse, bunker, chipping,
Yeah.
the center of the dot will always go towards the target. It'll go up and away from the golf ball. Yours goes up, it goes away from the golf ball, but it went towards me and then towards the, so it needs to always go that way. You can start 50-50, but it's always got to be moving that way.
It can't go that way.
Correct. It can, it just makes it harder to hit the same spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. See the sound
And
difference
just
there?
make sure you understand I'm talking about your belt buckle, not your chest.
Yeah.
Chest can do whatever the hell you want. Belt buckle can't.
A lot of times when you hear Dave and I talk about weight shift and center mass and moving the body, we're talking about really a point that's right around your belt buckle. It's really controlling your waist or your lower body. For a lot of us, when we say weight shift, you're thinking like the buttons on your shirt and you're thinking chest. It's very dangerous to mix those up, right? I think most times when you're thinking weight shift, weight control, think lower body, don't think upper body.
And the danger there is I actually get the center of my chest going too much, and that can create all kind of issues with angles. Michael had a little bit of an issue that Greg discussed with his kind of center of his chest moving too much instead of the center mass moving. And Greg goes through that with him when we look at the data, and then that kind of takes us on this journey into his full swing and into the bunker.
You can even start, you don't have to start all the way left. You can start close to 60-40 and then just go left.
But I just
don't
can't go right.
Can't
Correct.
go right.
Yep.
Good. Different sound.
Now let's
right?
do one. Let the belt buckle come towards me.
Completely different sound.
So this one he's going to try and do wrong. So just let the belt buckle come to me. Yep. You can already see you entered too far behind the ball.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's why it was heavy. You basically are moving the bottom of your swing too much. Yep.
It's weird. I feel like I'm so far.
Now that's
I don't know. It's not what
you
I'm
can
used to.
you can move your chest towards me as much as you want. You just can't do the belt buckle.
But okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be going
Correct.
No.
this
Correct.
way.
Correct.
It's just your lower body.
And you can start 50-50 and just go left. It doesn't have to start 100% left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would tell you, like most guys start more 50-50 and then just go left versus starting 70-30 left.
If you know you have a hard time getting onto your left side, what do? You try and cheat and you start there. I have a saying that I'm sure if you watch our channel, you've heard me say a million times, you can't shut a shut door, right? If all your weight starts left, it's kind of hard to go left if you're already there, right? It's way easier to open the door and shut the door. So it's very common with players who actually start excessively too far left to not go left, they end up falling back.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice.
That was really nice. I think if you get too far left, it's easier to try and go back You start here, it's easy to go left.
So I'm not trying to get, you know, here.
No, the only thing you would do that is like if you had a downhill shot here and you
50-50.
needed angle, you would do that for angle. But you don't.
50-50.
So feel 50-50.
And then go.
And just go
And
left.
then just,
Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll try a couple more. Jason's throwing some balls in now.
You can see if you're leaning too far left, you create these angles of down, 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 down. And what happens is if I go down too much, I take too much sand and the ball doesn't come out soft with spin, it comes out low and trundles, right? The other thing is if I'm too far left, it's really easy for wanting to move off the golf ball or sway a little bit so that I can get in a position that's actually better to hit the shot. So in his case, he was a little bit too far left. We wanted him a little bit left, not so much left at address, allowed him to go more left and not sway.
If he starts 70-30, he's going to want to push off of that.
Because you know what he
go back
does?
too far.
He takes his chest 70-30.
There's that.
That's
Thing
that
again.
thing. We'll get to that with the full swing here. Start 50-50 again. No ball. Just set up like you're going to go 50-50. Take a backswing. Don't let me win.
okay.
Don't let me win. What are you using there? Just none of that.
Huh?
None of that. Don't let me push you over. In the backswing, don't let me. Downswing, you're used to going left. It's in the backswing, you don't like to go right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's really that conscious control, like the first move away is where you tend to bump. That make sense?
Mm-hmm. That was nice.
Yeah. I almost feel like it's like from here to here, from like P1 to P2 is where you tend to sway. You got to feel like someone's trying to push you away, and don't let them push you away.
That's good.
Do one where you move it away, just so you can feel the difference. You just got to time too many things when this happens. Just let it drift. Does that kind of feel like how far behind that ball you were entering too? But do you feel like that's what you were doing before?
I mean, yeah, it makes, when I feel like I'm really trying to stay left, like that's a
Strange feeling.
strange feeling
Yeah.
right now.
Okay. Good.
I know it sounds bad, but a lot of times we like to hear those words, this feels different, because that means they're doing something different. It's really hard for a professional player who's done the same thing over and over again to really make changes. To make a change feels different. It feels weird. That means now they can differentiate the feel between the old pattern and the new pattern. That's very important.
Yes, I like that sound. What's the bounce on that 60? What's he got there?
4.
4. It's not much. It's okay for this sand.
Might take his, what's your 56 bounce?
11.
So we might
Yeah,
take the 56, turn it to a
for
60 for
soft.
these shots, yeah.
A lot of times when you're in the bunker, you want more bounce, especially the amateur golfer, because bounce is your friend. It actually helps you go through the sand. Now, when you get around the greens, sometimes if you're in firm conditions, like a lot of tour players are, they don't want a lot of bounce. They don't usually have a lot in their 60 degree. They have usually more in their 54 or their 56. So a lot of them sometimes make the mistake when they're trying to hit a high soft shot of, I need my 60 because it has more loft. And then they get in the bunker, but they need bounce. Well, now they've taken their 60 that they use on firm conditions around the greens, and they bring it into the bunker, and it doesn't work. It digs because it doesn't slide. So you're actually better off taking your 54 or 56, opening it a little bit more, exposing more bounce, and it'll actually go through the sand better and give you that high soft shot you're looking for.
Yeah, I was just working with Aaron a couple weeks ago, and he really liked me in the tee around the greens.
Yeah.
It's great for around the greens. The bunker, firm sand like
Firm
this,
sand's great.
Well, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was powdery and soft, you'd want a little more bounce in that. Or you'd not want to open the face as much.
Yeah.
Take that up the downhill slope. Now there you're going to need angle. So now you need to lean the handle forward and you can create your angle. But now you're going to stay there and keep going left. Don't
So
go
I
back.
can't hear, and then I can't.
Correct. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. That was great. Yeah. I think it's this easy. Not that that's easy, but that's. Any questions on that?
No, that's better.
If you don't have any questions, I just want to make sure you know
No,
what
no,
you
no.
need to go work
I
on.
understand. Yeah. Cool.
All right, so we're heading back to the range. We're going to get into the iron. First thing we're going to look at is we're going to just make sure that the iron, the setup, the center of the pelvis is more forward compared to the center of stance than the driver. That's where it should be.
You know, this is the one where he's late in his kinetics, so his ground forces are late. And we notice that this golf ball is a little bit back, there's a little bit too much rotation. Think about it, if the ball's back, You got to turn a lot to get behind it, right? Let's move that golf ball up a little bit. So now you just turn, and now we can get up on top of that golf ball and get that exit a little bit left.
So this is going to be a pretty similar conversation to the bunker conversation we just had.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tendencies tend to go through the whole bag. The thing is bumping away or moving away always gives an advantage to the driver. Bumping forward gives the advantage to the irons. You know what I mean? The iron and the bunker are very similar. With the bunker, he just swayed his pelvis too far to the right. With the iron, he starts it too far to the right? So he kind of ended up in the same place. So the good news is I think the fix is going to feel the same.
All right, so my plumb bob at address.
So yeah, let's go through this. With the driver, the plumb bob is slightly like a half inch behind the center of your stance.
Okay.
With a pitching wedge, it's almost 2 inches in front.
Oh, really?
Yep. And everything else is a scale between those. Let's say like a 5 iron, 6 iron, it's pretty centered. 8 iron slightly forward, wedge is even farther forward. And I would say finish where you start. Wherever you start that plumb bob, the top of your backswing needs to be at least there or forward, not back.
Oh,
Yours
wow.
is back.
Wow.
With the iron.
Yeah. So I'm starting back and going further back.
No, you were starting forward and then you moved it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You were more forward with your driver than your iron. You could help to be a little bit more forward and definitely don't let me push you on your backswing.
Yeah, don't go back.
Yep.
First thing we're going to work on is setup. We want to make sure that the pelvis isn't starting too far back. With a driver, we usually set up farther back with the pelvis to give us a tack angle, a launch angle to hit the ball up in the air. But if you set up with your 8 iron with all your weight back and you feel like you're going to hit the 8 iron up in the air, it's really hard to cover and create compression. We need a downward attacking angle. Compression, hitting down in the ball is very important, right? And it can create the hanging back feeling, all those kind of weird feelings. So I think by getting him into a better setup position with the lower body, it's going to take that hanging back feeling away.
When you get to like the 5 iron above, then it's okay. You can be a little farther back. Which club are we hitting?
This is an 8 iron here.
Okay, yeah. So be slightly forward.
So I'm just a hair further forward here.
Yeah, think of it like an inch forward to center stance, not ball position, center stance, right? And your chest can go wherever you want. It's just the pelvis we're talking about. Now it just stays there in the backswing and then goes forward. Yep.
Grab this in case you want to see it, Mike.
Okay, we can do that.
Just so you could actually like hold it there and let it move.
I guess. No, I'm just trying to make sure I get into a decent.
So this is the center of your stance right there.
So I want at address to be just like right there.
Yep.
And just know the more the plumb bob is forward, that effectively moves the ball back.
Yeah.
The more the plumb bob is back, it effectively moves the ball forward.
So I'm here, and then my chest can turn back, but
1000%.
I don't want this
I actually
going.
prefer your chest not to go forward, to go back. Yep. Look at the divots.
What you're saying, path or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like you said, my path's to left. You can
Yeah,
see
it
that
does.
steers the path to the right.
Yeah.
Just at least without trying, you could see what it did.
The plumb bob can affect the path. If it's too far forward, then it usually is a steepener. If I'm back behind it, I can come in a little bit shallower. With an iron, you want to make sure your belt buckle is maybe about 1 inch forward, depending on the shot you're going to hit.
When you adjust the plumb bob or the position of your pelvis in your swing, you're changing the low point in your swing. So it's going from an inside out, it hits the low point, and then it starts going to the left from out to in. So if you're exiting left too early, maybe the bottom of the arc or the bottom of the plane is too far back. So if we move the plumb bob forward, it'll be going out to the right longer. So we can actually shift your path just by changing the position of the plumb bob.
The backswing load is definitely a little different feel. That's
the only thing that should feel different. Yeah. Downswing, keep doing your thing. It's pretty efficient. No, you're good.
I mean, just by the simple math, if it's 2 inches less back, it's got to be more forward sooner, right?
Yeah, that's what you would. Yep. And was this more of a problem with the longer irons anyway? Like the 8 iron wasn't a big deal?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, the biggest difference is like
if you don't like that, you don't like golf.
at the top of my swing, this angle of my right leg feels like I'm much more, like it's flatter, you know what I mean, as opposed to, like
That makes total sense.
I just feel like I'm way more.
Do me a favor, would you take a video of him doing it? Film him face on and show him. So he feels his right leg doing something weird, I want him to see what it looks like.
Well, yeah, it doesn't feel
No,
weird.
but I think it's good for you to see it because that's exactly what it probably should feel like. So take a look and see if that's kind of what it feels like to you.
I've always noticed if I can give him something that's simple for him to see, then he makes the correction really, really fast.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it moved back.
Oh, it definitely didn't. So
That's
that's
pretty good?
that's great. That's what you.
Does it look crazy?
I mean, no.
Not at all,
It looked
right?
super normal.
Yeah. The good news is he's saying exactly what he should be saying. My backswing feels different right now, because that's really what we're affecting here, right? Is how he loads. Remember, we still want him weight shifting left, but the position of the plumb bob can make it feel very different to how you load in the trail leg. And I like the fact that he's saying, I feel something different, because then we can repeat it. That's what it should feel like. If it's been moving right and now it's not moving, it's going to feel like it's going crazy left and straighting. Yep. I always say if it moves 3 inches, it needs to feel like it's moving 3 inches to the left and not move. Yeah, so let's try with some of the longer clubs that you were worried about.
Like 6 iron, 5 iron?
So I'm more on the ball here with my.
So this would be more the plumb bob's more the center of your stance. But it doesn't.
I still don't want to go.
Correct.
Off
It finishes where you start. Am I right? And it's like controlling like P1 to P2, just like it's just this first move?
Yeah, because when I was younger, I had a significant move off the ball.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. I think that you just have a little residual of that still. That's it.
Oh, it feels so strange.
That's a good thing. Keep going. Just remember, if you were moving 3 inches, you need to feel like you're moving 3 inches to the left and not move.
Yeah.
I have a slight feeling that if the plumb bob is moved more forward, the ball might have to move up. So you might want to creep that ball up a little bit, because you're effectively moving it back doing this. Yeah, yeah, somewhere in there. Yep. Well, if you think about it, like if it was moving 2 inches over here, that effectively moves the ball over here. If he's not moving now, you've moved the ball back 2 inches. Right. Yeah. Anytime you're working on changing a swing, it's always, in my opinion, usually easier to do this on shorter clubs. As the club gets longer, especially in your long irons, they just tend to be less forgiving and they tend to be harder to adjust. One of the things that you got to remember is that when you change the position of the pelvis, or the plumb bob as we call it, it effectively changes the ball position. And if Michael is now with a long iron having his pelvis a little farther forward than it was before, we've effectively moved the ball position back. With a long iron, the ball back in your stance sometimes makes it hard for you to weight shift. You feel like you have to hang back to get it. Make the adjustment with the ball position, and all of a sudden you feel like you can go after it, and it makes the long irons easier. All your clubs, how do you do ball position?
I can show you. They're out of date now, but for years I had.
Have your marks?
I had marks on the clubs, and you can see I mean, they've fallen off and stuff, but.
So you're at the point now where you can pretty much feel it.
I would go like this, and I would step up to the tee with
process.
Do you still do those setup checks periodically or no?
Not really.
I would encourage you to do that. I call it sighting the gun, just maybe once a month, just to make sure nothing's creeped in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never hurts, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than let's say there's been something bad for like 2 months and you realize it was ball position. You're like, are you kidding me? Like I could have fixed that 2 months ago. Like that's frustrating. That happens all the time. I mean, it's just so good. I don't think we should do anything else. I think that's all you got to do. Now you just need a tee time.
Cool.
Okay, so now we're at that point that we're always hoping for. We can see it. You can hear the contact. You can see it in his face that he's starting to get this. And now it's one of those things where I call it set up and shut up. Just give him the balls, let him keep going, because now I think he really likes it. He can feel the contact. He can feel the resistance. This is some good stuff right now.
Our job is to simplify. So a lot of times people see all this technology we have. We're not trying to make it more difficult. We're trying to really understand that one little thing that will take you to the next level. And that's the beauty of it. So by getting his plumb bob a little bit more back, and by moving that golf ball a little bit forward, yes, it's going to be a slightly new feeling. The strike's going to be slightly better. But it won't take an elite athlete long to fix it and realize that, wow, look at this ball flight, look at the control that I have.
Show me one where you shorten the swing. And again, you decide if you ever need to do this, but if you need to, this is how we would brake pedal. Yep.
Okay, so there. I'm plugged in, and I just
keep it plugged in.
Keep it plugged in.
Did you feel the resistance at the top?
I like when I feel like I can't go more.
Good. There you go. That's how you feel the brake pedal.
Just hit a couple with that plugged-in feeling with the driver. I just want to see if he feels anything different.
We're wrapping up, and he's kind of happy with the way the day's done, and his team's got some great information. But I really wanted him to feel kind of this plugged in concept with the driver, because I know somebody that's got that kind of speed, they can get offline. And not that you need it all the time, maybe letting it go a little bit longer might actually help his tempo or his timing, or he's used to that timing. But when you get in situations where you're under pressure, or you need to find the fairway, or you're in the heat of competition, I want him to have the feeling of coil and the feeling of winding up and being a little bit shorter. So I wanted to make sure he had that before he left.
Plugged in with driver.
Plugged in with driver.
I'm keeping that pressure, and I'm going to keep it the whole swing. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, just, you know,
yeah.
first couple is going to be a little weird.
That felt solid.
What would you say feels the most different? Just the engagement, or?
Yeah, the core engagement for sure.
And it is a touch shorter. Club was at least 10, 15 degrees further down before, at least.
How hard is that to stay plugged in with the driver?
I mean, it's not normal, you know, so it definitely feels a little different, but I kind of do like the feel. It feels very tight, you know?
Yeah, you like that resistance.
Yeah.
And now that he can actually load his trail leg more appropriately and he can feel that resistance, that's something that most players love. They love that feel like, I know when my backswing is supposed to stop and my downswing is supposed to start, and I can repeat this, and it's more of a feel than trying to figure out where the club is in space.
Let's put it this way, at least it prevents it from going long. Doesn't mean it's going to be short, but it prevents it from going long.
Nice.
That was really nice.
Super good there.
Yeah.
You want another?
You don't need it
No.
all the time, and it might just be something that connects you and makes you
Yeah.
feel a little bit more stable, you know.
It's really amazing when you work with elite level athletes like this and phenomenal players, is you've really got to refine what you're looking at. You're trying to find out that little mix of too much information, just enough information to make them feel comfortable and get to the next level. So at first, the strike isn't where he wants it to be, but after a couple, you can start to see the light go on, and he starts to really hit it great.
Where's your phone? Is your phone right here?
It's in here.
I'm sorry, I'm really picky on this.
No.
Okay, say putting first.
All right, we are at TPI. Putting first and foremost, I was kind of losing my aim position. And so what we found is that when I moved the ball up, the line on the ball looked less left to me and was more kind of squared up to where it truly was lined up. It was maybe just a little bit ahead of center is kind of where it felt the most normal today. And then in the bunkers, we saw that my pelvis was going back about 2.2 inches on the backswing, and we want that to be 50-50, like kind of even at address, and then go forward a little bit as I take the club back. Just can't have it going backwards at all. And if I want more height, maybe a little more distance between myself and the ball, drop the handle a hair, and that should
if
help.
it's really fluffy, you might want to go to your 56 with more bounce.
Yes. In the full swing, driver looked pretty good. Sequencing and stuff was good. We just found that in the irons, plumb bob, trying to move that a little bit further forward at address. So it was more 6-iron on the ball, pitching wedge a little in front of the ball. Just
And by the way,
feeling
you said in front of the ball, it's in front of the center of your stance.
and in front of the center.
Center of pelvis compared to center stance,
Okay.
not ball position.
Okay, so ball position.
So if I look at your center stance, it's the center of your pelvis is 2 inches in front of that.
Ball position is irrelevant
correct.
of what we're plumb bobbing.
Correct.
Okay.
I want to make sure that's clear. Is that clear?
Yep, that is clear.
Okay.
And then with the iron, similar to the bunker shot, trying to just make sure plumb bob is appropriate to center of stance, not to ball position. When I take the club back, to resist lateral pelvic shift and staying more over the ball. And for me right now, the feel is that like kind of my right leg is at more of an angle into the ground, resisting the pressure from Dr. Rose on my left hip trying to push me back.
So if you feel like you're getting too long and you want to shorten your swing, what are we going to do?
Length of swing. trying to keep my chest plugged in, or my abs plugged in, because when I get into too much extension, that's when the club kind of runs long on me. So I feel like if I'm plugged in, it's harder for me to rotate, but I will still feel like I've reached a natural end of backswing, as opposed to stopping the arm short without any resistance. So I still feel like I do have power to turn off of, as opposed to it feeling kind of like they're floating in the air. So a lot of that is going to be pelvic stability stuff done in the gym with Jason. So I don't have to really too actively think about it while I'm hitting balls.
It's safe. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so what a pleasure spending the day here with Michael and his team. I can't wait to see where he gets in his career. A couple takeaways here from the full swing perspective is that it's really important to understand setup. Setup can affect everything. Just looking at basic fundamentals. People don't realize how much time we spend with the best players in the world just on the basics. Setup, alignment, grip, stance. It can mean everything when it comes to good ball striking. In the bunker, a nice solid foundation. Really important. If your lower body is moving excessively laterally, sometimes it makes that entry point very variable. And then with putting, it's really, really important to make sure that your visual systems align. I hate doubt anywhere. Anywhere in your golf swing, I hate doubt. One of the lessons I think we can all learn from Michael is that the best players in the world are very picky, and I think it's very important that you should be too. When I say picky, obsessive on making sure you're doing the right stuff. But it's really important that if you are going to be really nitpicky, looking at your swing a lot, to make sure you have a great team around you and that you're focusing on what matters, because it's really easy to go down the wrong hole really quick. And Michael's a perfect example of this. You get a team that is one of the best in the world, and he literally has that, one of the best teams in the world, and it shows.
I've really had the same core team for a long time, and one thing that we have been looking at growing up through, end of high school through college was my pre-round workouts, my normal day-to-day workouts, mobility stuff, based on how I perform in the physical screens. And it's cool that a lot of it is what Dr. Rose does here at TPI, so it's very similar. It wasn't new or super foreign, and it's just kind of cool to get an outside point of view and maybe a different angle, different perspective from the guys here.
So he's one of those players that I'd love to see him maybe once a year, a couple times a year if he wants to come back and follow that track. The sky's the limit for him. He's got speed. He's a great kid. He's got a beautiful golf swing. Now it's just learning. When you get to the tour and you get in major championships, it's like going to Harvard every weekend, right? You're going to be with some of the best players in the world on a constant basis. You should learn from what they do that makes them great. But you've got to be careful to be your own person as well. And I think it's very important to understand your body, how you're feeling. So you're traveling time zones, you're going international, you're going from one part of the country to the other. You've got to know how to travel and do that. And if you can get that while you're young, then that's just going to make him even better. And I honestly think he's one of those players to watch for the future. He's really, really good.
It was awesome. Learned a ton, as I expected to. Very glad I was able to come out here and see, the experts here at TPI. It was just so good. It really just confirmation. I'm very confident in what we're doing, and I think today was even kind of just solidifying that what we were working on was on the right path. I'm very excited for what we talked about and learned today.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. If you enjoy content like this, the best thing you can do to help support our channel is hit the like and subscribe button below. If you do that, we'll notify you once new content's launched. Thanks for watching my TPI.